And so the first author has been on the show multiple times. And so she's familiar to the audience. And it's Vanessa Riley. She's multi published. She writes in at least two different genres, historical fiction and romance. She might write in something else, but she'll let us know. And she has a new book out. So, welcome back to the show, Vanessa.
Hey, ladies, how are you guys doing?
We're doing
Fabulous.
great.
How are you tonight?
I'm happy to be here. I'm
You
happy to
look
be
you
here.
look camera ready.
Thank you.
Absolutely you do.
Girl, I got the lights right,
Yeah, you do. It
everything.
looks really nice. Um, so you have a new book out. You have it behind you, but I also have my copy that I bought.
Well, you
So
know it's
I
been hard
have
to
it.
get copies, so I'm glad to see that.
Oh well,
That's a good problem
that
to have.
is a good problem. I ordered mine. I ordered my books through Ingram, so for my
Okay,
personal.
that's a miracle.
Mhm.
Because
So,
they haven't yeah, yeah. Are we live right now?
Yes,
yeah,
we are live. Go ahead
we're
and
Okay.
say
always
what you
live.
want to say.
I just want to make sure,
Yeah.
But yeah, there have been some of my beloved indies did not get the book
Oh.
on release day.
Mm.
So,
Oh.
I'm
I'm
Okay.
glad to
actually
hear
about to put an
Ingram
order
is
in right now for I want to order just a few copies of my last book for my event that's going to be on the 21st, and I'm praying that they get here in time. I'm just going to order a few copies. I'm hoping just because it's a few copies it might come on time. Call them.
Okay. Okay.
you ain't hear from me.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, so you this new book, Fire, Sword, and Sea. Now, um, Rashonda Tate was on the show last week,
Mhm,
and she's writing in this space now, the historical fiction.
mhm.
And she mentioned that she's going to continue in that vein because what happens is once you start doing the research, you find other things, other people that need to be written about.
Mhm.
So this book is kind of in a similar time period as your other books that came out, or is it earlier?
Earlier. Earlier.
1675. I saw that. So,
Yeah, girl,
but it's still
that was drama. I'm gonna tell you right now. I should have.
okay.
If see, I know from about 1750 to 1830. I know that world inside and out. I know how money transmits. I know all the wars. I know all the country factions. I know when people got free. I know what the state of the transatlantic slave trade is. I know all that. I ain't know
Okay.
jack for 1600s.
Okay.
I had to learn it all. Like I didn't even know how people dressed.
So, how did you face that challenge? Did you just dive right in, or did you kind of study as you went along?
No, I had to dive in because I had a deadline.
Uh-huh.
That kind of changes your perspective when you have a deadline.
Yeah.
But pro tip for anybody writing about any time period: follow the money. If you can answer the question, how is money made? What are people buying? That will get you everything pretty much that you need. It's going to tell
That's
you what kind of
This
food they're going to be, purchasing, what they're able to purchase, the different class strata, how they're making a living, even down to the clothes, because clothes, different types of clothes, different types of tapestries or cottons versus wools, etc. It's going to tell you all of that. And then
so how
how
so you said how was money made in the 1600s and
how
it
did you make money? Basically,
okay.
how did you as a person make money? And then what did you spend that money on?
Now, how did you do your research? Did you use AI or did you do it the old-fashioned way?
Okay, girl, you just almost made me stroke out here. Did you say use AI? Oh my god. Okay, okay. New pro tip: you use AI, half the stuff they gonna tell you is a lie. Half the
Yeah,
stuff
because
is a lie.
it just pulls
Yeah.
up what's been put out there. That
No,
doesn't
no, no.
mean it's
It does
true.
even more than that, Gwen. It makes up stuff that
Okay.
sounds close to what you're
Yeah,
looking for.
because
Okay.
AI does what's called oh, what's the word it uses?
Adaptive
I forgot
logic.
hmm? No,
Adaptive logic.
I forgot the word that he uses. But it'll sound like it's real, but it's not. But see, I like to use it because I like to use it not for my total research, but if I want to know what the popular thought is at that time, I might use it, but then I'll use real research so I can find out
Yeah.
what the real deal is, because you've got to use real research and actually go to what the real publications had to say about it. You can't just depend on AI. But if you
Can't
just want
depend
to know
on
what
it at
the
all,
popular
girl.
thought
That's
is,
a limb. That's a you standing on a limb that's gonna
it's
break.
like, but it's like Wikipedia. When people depend on Wikipedia for their research, Wikipedia is cool if you want to know what the popular thought is.
Yeah,
But if
or
you
if
need,
you want to know when
No,
somebody
when
was
you go to
born or
Wikipedia,
something
go
like that,
all the way
you
down to
know.
the bottom
Mhm.
and look at the sources.
Mhm.
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
what Wikipedia is for, because Wikipedia is somebody's opinion.
Mhm.
Right.
But they'll give you these sources so you can go firsthand and look at the sources and be able to document. When I have looked at Wikipedia, it's gotten children's names wrong, it's gotten marriage dates wrong.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
it's like the first generation of AI that,
Okay.
because it's
Right.
I'm telling
No,
y'all,
when
it's
I did my doctoral research, they specifically said nothing with .com. They would not accept anything with .com behind it. We had to use something that said .edu or .org. That's what we had to use our research on.
Mhm.
But like I said, whenever I write books, if I used Wikipedia, I only used it because I wanted to know what was the popular prevailing thought, what did the everyday person think about something. But then when I wanted to know what was really happening, I wanted to use academic research for that.
Yeah. And unfortunately, especially with Wikipedia, people can now jump in and change the code.
Right.
So I've seen that in several cases. Like I go back and it's been rewritten by
Mhm.
somebody who gained access. So you can't, unfortunately, you cannot trust anything. So for
Mhm.
my research, I am looking at the letters. Like I actually read pirate letters. One of the famous pirates of the time
Well,
wrote
that's
an
awesome.
apology for stealing his frigate. And
Okay.
yeah, he's Henry Avery is one of the most famous pirates of the 1600s. He hit the Muslim Mughal Empire and lived and survived and had all this money and disappeared, but he decided to write a letter to the British Navy, is saying he was sorry for stealing their ship, and that he respected the shit. I mean, girl is crazy, but that level tells you, what they're doing, how the pirates are thinking. It's some of these will tell you how a battle went. So this book is, if you haven't read it yet, it's muscular. I take you on these pirate adventures.
That's amazing.
You're
No, I was just saying that's amazing that just reading real pirate letters.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
in the world did you find a pirate letter?
Girl, I got crazy books. So when you're a history nerd, and when you don't promise to write a book about some era, you get real panicked and you find everything under the sun. And there are letters. You know, women today, I tell you guys to journal. I tell you journal, 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 because I find more men's letters, men writing back to their families that have now the British Museum has packaged up, or other historians have gotten the letters and they've written nonfiction books to detail these different facets. It's very rare to find a woman's account. So we need to find space to write our stories, otherwise they're going to be ignored. Like
Yes.
that's why Rashonda's finding these people, because these are
Mhm.
famous people during that time frame. But now that we step 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years away, they have all disappeared because people don't prioritize women's stories. They don't prioritize our journey. They don't think that we've done something significant, or they try and find a man to claim that they've done these different things. And without our testimony, you're left with what they say. I've got in my house, I'm a collector of old books. I've got 200-year-old books with other, with letters from the Regency time frame. Just because you want to understand, what are people valuing, what are they thinking. So once again, jumping to the 1600s, that's not my era. And so I had to basically learn everything. And, you can't even really start writing if you don't know what these people are doing, if you don't know what they value, you don't know what they're wearing. Um, and then when you get into the colonies in the Caribbean, I mean, it's completely different. Like this world, guys, there are two world powers during the 1600s. Okay, y'all think about all the countries we know of. There's only two world powers. That's Spain, the Spanish Armada. The big ships stealing the gold from the from South America, indigenous, and then the Muslim Mughal Empire in the east. Those two have all the gold. So if you're Britain and France and Portugal and the Dutch, you have given pirates a license to hit those guys. It's now legal to be a pirate because we want you to hit them. As long as you give us a tithe, give me 10%. We good. I mean, it's a fascinating world. Like your job, I could be a chef, a maid, a pirate, right? I mean, it's a legal thing. So it was completely chaos. But then I find these amazing women and these amazing stories, and I want to bring them back to you. So that makes you dig in more, and it makes you, because this may be your only opportunity to hear about Lawrence de Graaf, a man with a Haitian mother, with I think a Dutch father, who becomes one of the richest pirates during this time frame. You may never hear of Anne de Ver, a French woman who was literally enslaved. And it's like people who doing this, doing enslavement, do it all the same. They don't. This 1600s, anybody could be enslaved. So they're stealing women, French women, from Paris, because they have an idea to get these colonies started, that they're going to force these women who may have been stealing or just literally kidnapped from the streets of Paris to marry these men. So they throw them in the bottom of a boat, shackle them, and take them across from France, across the ocean to the Caribbean to marry these old retiring pirates. Enslavement it begins the same.
Similar. Mm-hmm.
Begins the same. But this is not chattel slavery. Once they have married, they're free. Once they have children, they're free. Chattel slavery, it's generational.
We're never free unless you escape and went somewhere. Something came to my mind when you were talking about the women's stories and journaling, and this is not necessarily related to this new book that you have, but just writing about history from the past and with women, because our ancestors couldn't write. It was illegal for them to write. Then how do we capture like 200 years of stories?
There's always someone watching, right? And even in the narratives that are written by others, they mention it, but they'll be real slick about it. They'll say, they'll say that the maid did X, Y, and Z. And then when you go back and you do the research and you do the household research, you figure out who that maid was. Or they'll mention somebody's sister or somebody's mother. And then you've got to do the research of figuring out who these people are. And for Fire, Sword, and Sea, I was in Jamaica. On a writer's retreat. Okay. And whenever I go somewhere, I want to know about the history. And Kingston, when you fly into Kingston, you fly over Port Royal. And Port Royal is the Sodom and Gomorrah of the West Indies. Really? One day, it was hit by a tsunami, an earthquake, and fire. Half of Port Royal is now in the sea, still in the sea. The half that survived, there's a fort called Fort Charles. So I go there, and they're showing me around where they made a kind of a touristy thing, but they're showing you where the soldiers were. Famous Admiral Nelson, Lord Nelson was stationed there. They show you where, and they were like, "Would you like to see where we kept the women pirates?" Now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, were you working on the book then, or was this before? Is this what gave you the idea?
This was before the book,
okay,
right?
Okay.
I was actually working on a different idea. This was before.
Okay.
So we go there, and they were like, "Would you like to go to prison?" Now, as a Black person, I say, "No, I'm not going The prison. Yeah, y'all might lose the key or something. I got a whole bunch of issues. I can't go into the prison cell. But then when they say the women pirates, I'm like, okay, I will make an exception to my rule of not going into prison to do this. And you go there and there's an energy. You feel the history in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, well, these, Mary Reed and Anne Bonny, they're two white pirate women. They're from the 1750s. Are there any black women pirates? And we all take out our phones and start Googling, right? And then one of the first articles I get to is an article by LA Times where they said 20 to 30% of the pirates in the Caribbean were black. And then we find this name, Jacot de la Haye. Jacot's mother was African, her father was French. And we get bits of her story, but from going back to your question, Gwen, from other pirates who knew her.
Okay.
So Michel Lebasque knew her, and so I get a piece of her story there. Anne Deveux knew her, so I get a piece of her story there. Lourdes de Graff knew her, so all of these people, that puts me places and things. So I get to fill in the gaps, because unfortunately with women, you will get, she was born here, died here, maybe one or two of the big things that she did in life, but you don't have any of that middle.
Yeah, children probably.
Yeah, she didn't.
Mhm.
As far as I know, she did not have any children.
Okay.
But her family structure with her father, she's literally, and I take you there in the book. She starts out as working in her father's tavern. Her father, is in Tortuga. It's a big pirate haven. He's making his money selling them drinks. There's a brothel upstairs, and she is listening to all these stories about pirates going out and doing this adventure. But in this world of 1600s, women only have two roles. They could either be a wife or a wench, or as my friend said, a hoe or a housewife.
Right.
And you're listening to these pirate stories, and your mother was this very bold woman who died in childbirth. She begins to say, I want something more. I don't want this. And so I take you on this journey of how this woman, who is molded to be a wife of somebody, who's in the kitchen cooking, becomes literally becomes a pirate captain, one of the best sword fighters or rapier fighters known in this particular time frame. And you go on her rise. And I want people to know your dreams are worth fighting for, even if they're unconventional. I want them to know there's such a thing as holy anger. You can rage. You can do what you need to do. There is a moment for that. You cannot stew necessarily in anger, because that does stuff to you. But it's okay to be angry, because often they tell women, no, no, no. You just sit back. Don't be angry. Just, forgive and forget. You should forgive and forget. But that moment of being angry is also powerful, because that could be a moment of change.
Yeah, and
Um,
anger
Anger is
is a good
actually a very
motivator too.
yeah, anger is actually a
Anger
very
is
healthy emotion.
motivator. Mhm.
Yeah, it's how you handle the anger that
Yes.
can cause problems, but you have to have anger.
yes,
I mean,
Yeah.
because if you hold it inside, it comes out in some very unhealthy
exactly,
ways.
exactly. And the book is called Fire Sword and Sea. So
Yeah.
she might have handled it in maybe some ways we wouldn't have handled it.
Right.
Okay.
But I think there's a place for that. And again, and the subtle thing is, when women make choices, there's a cost. There's always a cost. So I think this is one of these great books for people to discuss this, the representation in this book, because the lifestyles of the 1600s are so different, but maybe they're not so different from where we are now. But everybody owns the piracy history. It's not, I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I love Johnny Depp doing all these things. That's not it. That is not it.
Yeah, I
And
never saw that movie.
oh, girl, it's a hoot.
I,
They have a
I
whole
heard it got a lot of attention.
a lot of
I just
lot of different versions of it. But if
yeah,
you don't
I
see
just
20
never
to
saw.
30% of that crew as black, as indigenous, as Latina or Latino, that's not it.
And which is interesting because we don't, when we look at pirate movies, we don't even expect to see ourselves in a pirate movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we expect to be underneath in the boat, in the bottom of the boat, and that was the wild thing that I actually love the most is on the top of that ship. They didn't ask who you were.
Mhm.
Often they didn't even ask who you liked or loved or any. They said, "Can you rig the sails? Can you help power the ship? Are you
Yes.
willing to jump on the side of the boat and scrub barnacles off the hull so we don't sink?" And the big one is if we go into battle and you have a sword in your hand, do I need to be worried that you're going to stab me instead of the enemy?
Mm.
Those are the questions. That's what formed your crew. It was, can you do the job? And so
Mhm.
that's why it's everybody has one vote too. Everybody except the captain gets 2 votes, but everybody else gets 1 vote. So you have equality, a meritocracy, and it's about skills. So it's a very unique period in time, and I'm just very fortunate to be able to tell that story.
So,
I love it. And one thing I can say is, yeah, the times, of course, were very different in the 1600s, but the emotions, the things that people face
Mhm.
are still prevailing today.
Very much so. I
yeah,
mean,
well, human nature really doesn't change. What changes is technology.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
we're all humans, and we all have the same needs and flaws and failings. Those things are. It's the technology that changes, and or just the way it's all technology. Because even the way people built ships from then till later on, all of that changed. But the human nature part and the captain, I guess they still supposed to go down with the ship. I don't know. We haven't had any ship sinkings in a long time that I know of, not
Well,
major
girl,
ones.
there have been some activities in the Caribbean recently.
Well, I
Some
mean,
people look at us as pirates now because we're taking out boats around the Trinidad and whatnot.
Well, I
yeah,
was just about to say, if you remember, like, and not so recent or not so far away, they
A
were
couple
talking
months ago.
about, huh?
Couple months ago.
Yeah. But remember when they were talking about the Haitian pirates that were taking over ships?
Oh
hmm
yeah. Okay, that
hmm
was 2000s
Yeah,
near
this was just
Africa. Yeah.
yeah, this was just a
hmm
few years ago.
Mhm.
Okay, and
And
well,
it was
also
all
that
shot.
movie was based, wasn't it based on Somali pirates?
Mhm.
The movie that they did with Tom Hanks in it,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I forgot the name of the movie, but that was
wasn't
a
it
good movie.
called Pirates?
No, it wasn't called
It
Pirates.
wasn't called Pirates. You sure?
It wasn't called Pirates. It was called
No, it
Captain
was called Captain
Phillips.
something. It was about the captain of the ship.
Yeah.
I forgot what the name. I didn't see the
And
movie. I just saw
they
like the
said, "I'm the
trailer.
captain now."
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Oh, I think we all saw that clip. Yeah. I'm the
yeah.
captain.
I saw the whole movie. The movie, I had never heard of the movie. I don't even know how I got into that movie because I had never heard of the movie, but I sat there and I watched that movie. I was like, oh, this movie is good. And
Okay.
come to find out the young men who played the pirates, that was their first time acting. And they did a
Oh,
great job.
Excellent.
okay. I see it sometimes. What did you watch it streaming? Did you watch it on
Me?
streaming? Yeah.
No, I went to the movie
Oh,
theater.
you went to the movie theater. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I think I can pull it up on one of the streamings. I'm gonna check it out and see.
No,
So
everybody should be watching the pirate movies because they're
yeah,
good. They're good.
yeah. So Vanessa, how do you find time? Because you're writing historical fiction and romance. Your
And mystery.
romance are multi and mysteries,
Yep.
and your romances are series. So there's multiple installments, and then your historical fiction books are not small. They're not novellas. They're full. They are full. Let me see how many pages are in this book. Probably 400. I'm just pulling and see. No, 360, but
But they're not
close.
small.
Wasn't it? Yeah, and the other one, The Queen of Exiles, was 500. Wasn't it 500 pages? That's the biggest one. But both of those are pretty hefty.
Yeah.
How do you find
Island
the
Queen, I think, is the
time to
biggest
write
one.
all of these
I think
stories?
Island Queen was the biggest one.
Okay, Island Queen. That's right. That was the first one
Yeah.
because I read that one. I haven't read the other ones yet, and
Oh, you
I have
should.
them. I have them, girl. I have so many. This show has made my TBR explode. I do have the books though. I
We
support them.
appreciate you. We
I do
appreciate you.
get
We
them. I
appreciate you.
don't get a chance to read them all, but how do you find the time to write all this stuff? How do you work it in? Are you writing from as they used to say, cane sea to cane sea? That's what they used to say in the country, or dust to
Sometimes
dawn.
it feels like that, right?
Okay.
But you know, it's one of the things I'm very fortunate that when it comes to writing, I'm organized. So I try to make the most of my writing time. And then there's time frames where research is much more easy to do during certain times of the day. Libraries are open at, during, your 9 to 5 hours. If I'm trying to get something translated or going into archives, that's a daytime thing. I've always been a
Okay.
night writer. I mean, when I
Okay.
was when I was, you know, working in engineering, I would, get home 6 o'clock ish, be wifey, mommy, and put them suckers to bed, and then from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. I was
Yes,
writing.
yes.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
the
I'm a
house
night
is
writer too. That's
quiet.
when I write
Yeah, the
at
house is
night. It's
quiet. I don't
quiet.
have to stop. Right, I can
Right.
That's
just
the
keep
only time I
going.
can write. It's like late at night, or sometimes if I can do it, I might wake up super early in the morning, maybe about 5 or 5:30, and try to get about an hour of writing in before it's time to go to work.
Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, I never do that. My brain does not turn on before 10. Not for like processing and heavy stuff. I'm a night person.
Mhm.
All the ideas and all that churning, that's at night.
Yeah, I'm
So
properly caffeinated before I get in there. I gotta have
yeah,
the caffeine.
that too. So congratulations on this
Thank
latest
you.
book and bringing all of this information to the fore. Even though it is historical fiction, it's still the key word is historical. So we're learning things about all different
Absolutely.
periods of time in history, and that's 400 years ago. Um, and 400 years from now, I wonder what people will be saying about us.
If we're writing in our journals, they'll be saying a lot.
Okay,
But if
I
we're
don't have a journal.
not, we're going to
Okay,
leave it to the important
others,
people,
others.
you know, who society deems as important. That's the stories they'll focus on. But if we're
Mhm.
writing, we give future writers something to dig in to think about, and I think that's so important. Your stories are important out there, gang. So I need everybody to be journaling and
Love
telling us
it.
stuff.
Okay, well, have a great night. Thanks so much again, and congratulations once more on another great release.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye bye.